Alright, the moment of truth. Let's see, is this possible?
Did I not
Okay,
declare victory
this is a really high damage. Oh my god. Free
I am
pilgrim.
Chime, the sole and most capable royal aide of the Crown Kingdom.
Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another Nikke Goddess of Victory video. Now I'm sure you guys are aware by now Nikke is on its 3rd anniversary right now, and the focus is going to be on this character right here, Nayuta. However, I want to shift a little bit of the focus away from her because we got a new character, Chime, in this particular patch. Now, Chime, in my opinion, is a very interesting character. If you guys haven't seen her already, she is going to be one of the more simpler characters in the game. Look at this, I've already maxed her out 10, 10, 10. I'm still thinking if I want to skill reset her later on, but for now, I'm skilling her up basically just for this video, right? To basically try to use her to her utmost potential. Now, if you guys are not aware, Chime is going to be a character that's focused on buffing Crown. You can see right here, right? All her skill basically affects the king, and the king in this question refers to Crown. So if you have Crown, definitely she's going to be strong. But if you don't have Crown, then there's just no reason for you to build Chime. So let's talk about Crown as a whole. Crown is a defender burst 2, and everybody knows that Crown is one of the strongest support in the game. Now Chime basically enhances your Crown, or basically makes her a DPS character, which is very interesting, right? So her first skill basically increased the attack by 46% of the caster's attack continuously. Now this is going to be something that lasts quite permanently. And then skill 2, as you can see right here, increase the normal attack damage multiplier by 46.22% when you do full burst. And then for the last but not least, the burst skill right here re-enters burst 2, and then max ammo increased by 20% and attack damage increased by 92%. That is a lot of increase right here. Now, in a lot of situations, in a lot of circumstances, you will see that is literally going to double or triple your Crown's damage in a lot of cases. But is it worth it? Because that's going to be the most important question. Now, here's the thing, right? Crown is going to be an iron type character. Now, that means if we were to filter by the elements, you look at the other available DPS options that we have, right? Including Raven, Eve, Red Hood, Laplace Treasure, Bunny Milk, which is the most recent character as well. So these are all very prominent DPS characters. Can Crown compete with any of these, right? So let's show you guys a little bit of testing that I've discovered so far. Now Ultra is going to be a very interesting one. I figure I want to show you guys right here. You can see in this particular Ultra team, Crown versus Red Hood. This is going to be a situation where you can see Red Hood is going to outshine Crown a little bit, just due to the nature of this boss has very specific parts. That's number one. And number two is we can't really get the core damage for the bosses. Alright, so for this particular boss right here, there's just, you can't really get the core hit for Crown, right? And that's going to basically suppress your damage a little bit. But generally, for boss that have parts, especially Ultra in this particular case, you can see earlier he has that two left and right parts that he activates, and then he has a core in the middle. That's where Red Hood just shines in total, right? So right here you can see Red Hood is going to do way more damage. By default, Red Hood is just going to be insane, just due to the nature, again, this boss has parts. Alright, now you can see the boss is going to spawn his parts again. So let me take the cover for a bit. Okay, so there's that core in the middle. Okay, so we're going to try to destroy that. Okay, you can see the poison chamber literally getting destroyed within seconds, right? Now, what's my point here? My point is in the situation where if the enemy has parts, that's where Red Hood is going to shine in general. So I'm just doing a comparison against Red Hood in this particular case, because Red Hood is one of the better iron DPS characters that we have, right? We don't have that many. Also, she has a banner right now. It gives you a very good insight in comparing these two characters as a whole. But when it comes to boss with no parts, suddenly Crown has the ability to outshine Red Hood. Now, there's a couple of factors, right? Not only we're gonna try here in this particular shooting range, and you can see if the enemy has no parts, number one, and number two is if Crown is able to consistently get the core hit, that's where she shines in general. Alright, so she is going to be always dominating. You can see right here in the middle, we're able to get core hit consistently. Alright, so in the first burst rotation right now, alright, we're just gonna let it one full burst duration, and then we're gonna try to compare the damage afterwards. You can see right now, so right about now, so Crown is doing about, in this particular case, I would say about 80% of Red Hood's damage, right? So Red Hood still does more. Alright, even if in this particular boss, Red Hood can still do more. Now, this is going to be a little bit different, however, right? Because Crown is a burst too, that means Crown is bursting every single turn, whereas Red Hood can only burst once every few turns. So in this case, because Red Hood and Eve in this particular team comp, they are rotating their bursts, so we got, you know, Red Hood bursting one time and then Eve bursting the other time, whereas Crown gets to burst twice in this particular case. So you can see Crown is actually doing more damage. Now, is she actually doing more though, because she's bursting every turn, so it's kind of cheating in a way. But if you look at the total overall damage, then yes, Crown is definitely doing more in these particular instances, right? I can see in some situation, if the boss have the core exposed like this, and also if the boss has no parts, Crown is probably going to be one of the top DPS in Iron category, right? And specifically in that particular element. Now, of course, this is going to be me. I haven't fully configured my Crown yet. I will show you guys my gear later, but you might want to consider switching up your gears, because before this, my Crown, I just built her with like defense percent and stuff. But after this, if you are trying to make her a DPS character, and I do think that she has potential. Alright, she definitely has the potential to shine, and this is going to be something that you can see right now based upon the results that we have seen, right? In this particular one, yeah, she's getting 1 billion damage, and this is going to be insane. Now, in my opinion right now, if you are looking at collectively all the bursts together, Crown is probably going to be in top 5, especially in the Iron type DPS. Alright, so if you're looking just for that, if you put Chime in a team, so that's going to be something that you have to consider. And I do think that this is, in my opinion, a good thing, right? It gives you a flexibility, especially for players who have Crown. You basically just practically get Chime, which is a very, very good buffer in that particular case. So easily, this is going to be something that you can see across the board. In terms of damage, yes, Crown is going to be higher than Red Hood. Now, how should you build your Crown as a DPS? Obviously, if you guys are not aware already, by now you have to modify all her abilities to basically include elemental damage dealt. That's going to be your priority, alongside with attack percent. So if you want to have the maximum damage, that's going to be the two things that you have to consider. So as you can see, I haven't gotten all the relevant substats yet. Alright, elemental damage dealt. This one is, I think, my most perfect one so far. Still trying to get a better one. But elemental damage dealt percent, attack percent, you can either go with hit rate on the last one, or you can go with max ammo capacity. Those two are going to be good. Crit rate and crit damage is not too bad as well, right? Since she's a machine gun character, that's going to be the one that you want to go with. But elemental damage dealt and attack percent should be the utmost priority. In terms of cubes, definitely go with Bastion. That's going to be the best one. This is going to improve her capabilities by a lot, and it's going to make her reload less, and that's going to be what you want, right? Now, Chime, fortunately, is going to be a very simple character. If you're just building her, since she's a full-on support, she's a very cheap character. You probably don't even need to, you know, maximize her gears as much, but at least her skill, you want to get that up to level 10 for the time being. For now, this is going to be how it is with my Chime. I haven't maxed out anything yet. It's very expensive trying to build a bunch of characters, also trying to save for next week as well, since Liberalia is coming, right? In comparison to Crown versus Red Hood, let me show you guys a little bit of my Red Hood's gear, so you guys get a little bit of an idea, right? So here you can see charge damage, elemental damage dealt percent, and attack percent. And then here I got elemental damage dealt percent, charge speed, critical rate here, and then my Red Hood has max ammo, critical rate, charge speed, and then last but not least, another elemental damage dealt, attack percent, and charge damage. So as you can see, my Red Hood's gears is definitely way more configured compared to my Crown's gears, so take it with a grain of salt. It's not going to be a super fair comparison with very similar substats on each other. I would say that's pretty impressive, alright, considering that Chime is able to bring Crown up to a somewhat, you know, formidable DPS potential. Now let's talk a little bit about team building then. This is going to be where there might be some issue that's going to come up, right, specifically. And I do think that right now, if you're looking to build a team with Crown, with Chime, that's something that you have to try to take into consideration a couple of things. Okay, so burst 1, obviously, you can either put Little Mermaid, you can put Lita in there. These two are probably going to be the best burst 1 for a while. Alright, and then for burst 2, obviously, you want to put Crown and Chime, right? So that's going to be very, very important. Now, if you are playing on auto, make sure your Chime is always to the left of Crown, alright? Because it always prioritizes from left to right. So your Chime needs to burst first, then Crown burst after. If you do something like this, for example, then your Crown will burst and it will never go to Chime, because Chime is the one that re-enters burst 2 based on this skill right here. So you can see right there. So it allows you to use 2 burst 2 right there. One more important factor when you are building a team with Crown is should you bring Helm? I'm sure you guys are aware by now. Helm, especially the Treasured Helm, alright? That's going to be something that is
Right
quite
now?
relevant to the Crown
okay.
team. Chime doesn't provide any healing. Alright, for those of you who are not aware, now Crown needs healing to activate her skill 2. Alright, her skill 2, this particular one you can see, this is going to be where activates when recovery takes effect, affects all allies. You get basically 21% increased attack damage for 7 seconds. Now this is something that is constant recovery is going to be very, very helpful, especially for Helm. This is going to be something that you almost always use Crown and Treasure Helm together just to activate that skill too, right? That's going to be something that you see a lot of solo raid players do. If not, you have to bring another healer, you know, someone like Marciana or something. But to be honest, you already bring 2 burst 2, right? You don't want to bring like one more burst 2 healer in this particular case. That would be kind of cringe, right? You'll be lacking a lot of damage. So I guess you have to bring Helm, alright, if you want to maximize that. So you're only left with one other DPS slot in this particular case, right? You can put like something like Rapi Red Hood in there. Sure, this could probably be like a pretty decent team overall. If you want to do something like DPS Crown, I would say this is going to give you a little bit of potential.
The light of the kingdom.
Now comparing Crown to Rapi Red Hood is not even fair, man. Like Rapi Red Hood is the strongest character in the game, so everybody knows that by now. She's definitely... her damage is up there for sure, in like, I think in the top. So in this particular case, alright, we know how it is, as you can see right there. In my opinion, it's still pretty decent, right? So we have a 3 million versus 5.2. Sure, Rapi Red Hood almost do double the damage, or maybe like 1.7 times, but in this particular case, I would say it's not bad, right? So this is going to be, in my opinion, if you're trying to make a team, one of the best team to basically go with if you're looking to make Crown and Chime combo work. Now, another very, very strong DPS in the Iron class is going to be Raven. So you can see right there, Raven is going to be, she does more damage, less than Rapi Red Hood still, alright, but more than Red Hood in this particular case. You can see Crown and Raven's DPS are going to be very, very close. And in my opinion, this is going to be a good thing for Crown because Raven is definitely one of the top 3 DPS in Iron Raids. Alright, if you're specifically looking to tackle Iron Raids, this is where things are going to come in, right? Should you build Chime? Based on all of these results right here, I would say yes. She has very interesting potential to make Crown a DPS character, and I think by now you can see consistently Crown can compete with some of the top DPS in that particular class, right? It's good to see that Crown is going to be, you know, fitting in that category, one of the few teams that you can basically bring into Iron Raids, and I definitely do appreciate that. So yeah, overall, this is going to be our first look at DPS Crown. In my opinion, she has a lot of potential. Now obviously, I still need to slowly work on her gears, and definitely in the future, I think perhaps she's going to be able to shine more depending on the boss. We'll see how that goes, right? So all in all, that's going to be it for now. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, give this video a like, and please let me know what you guys think of the DPS Crown and Chime combo. Are you guys going to ignore Chime, or are you guys planning to build her? With that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, give this video a like, have a nice day, goodbye.